Yes, thanks. Pause to stop recording. Boss man.
G'day. Wow.
Like that?
Wow. Look at that mo.
Not bad, huh?
Holy moly. You are putting Murphy's to shame.
Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. That's impressive. Fuck. What's it going to be like? We're only the 10th of November, dude.
I think it's going to be much the same because I shaved the rest this morning and makes the rest look kind of more pronounced.
Are they sideburns you got as well?
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah.
Holy moly.
I'm not fucking around, mate.
You are going full Tiger King, aren't you, mate?
Full Tiger King, yeah. This one's not growing quite like this one.
That's okay. That one probably hasn't reached puberty yet.
Well, that's the thing. I know I can grow sideburns because when I was like 20 years old, that's the only thing I could grow. So I know they will grow.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to have sideburns back in the day.
Yeah. I
like the hair going around the side and the back, like a typical bald guy.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Not really.
You got any photos of that?
Yeah, maybe. Probably old wedding photos, if anything.
I tried to grow mine because that's the only thing I could grow. You know, like Beverly Hills 90210, Dylan.
Yes.
An old mate used to have the sideburns. That was what I was going for at the time. I don't know who does this. I don't know who does the Tiger King chopper reed and the sideburns, but I just thought it would look cool, and I'm not unique. Wrong.
Yep, it's growing on me.
Good.
So we need to talk.
Yeah, that's the idea. What do you want to talk about?
What the fuck happened to what happened to NoHopVember, mate? That didn't last very long, did it?
Wait, have you been talking to other people, or based on what you've seen from my?
Well, I saw it on on Facebook.
Yeah,
I think Raylo took a photo.
Well, yeah,
and you're at the new Revel Rivermakers.
Oh yeah, well, the thing was, we had the Black Ops birthday, right? So I went up to Brisbane for that. It was great. One of the beers was one of the original semi-pro beers, which is that Why So Sour, you know, the blood orange sour that Mick used to do. I think it was their best-selling beer. It's a really fun beer. So I had that one first. It's tasting really good. And then I had the cold IPA. But I mean, I have to have the birthday beers. It's beyond NoHopVember.
Yep.
I had to. So I had one of those, and then I had the other one. And then we went to Revel, and I've just got so many good hoppy beers, but I went with the porter. Everyone else is drinking like the XPA and this Eclipse IPA and all these other ones. And then after that, I'd had like 4 beers, and I was just like, fuck it. Fuck NoHopVember.
That's a bit of a hop addiction you got going there, mate.
Well, I'm actually just finishing a lager right now because I've got this one. I've got another beer for the show, which is not a hoppy beer, but
right.
I struggle. I don't really like it.
Oh, we need to try it again next year, mate. NoHopVember.
No. So I only had the Eclipse IPA at Revel. Then we went to Wellers Hills Bowls Club on the way back and got some take. The only beers in the fridge are full of hops. So I had one more hoppy beer there, and then that was it. So it's not completely over. I'm resisting temptation. Like we do sensory every day. You know, like I'm seeing people drink our hazies, and I'm just like, man. And
sensory doesn't count. I'll give you that much, mate. But that's work.
But okay. But the point of this is to rediscover my love of hops, right? So it's not going to work if I'm doing sensory every day on hoppy beers that have been brewed yesterday.
Oh, you can't. You know the temptation's too much.
Yeah. So I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I think I've lost some willpower, to be honest with you. I think like when I was younger,
No
one year.
shit. You lasted fucking 4 days.
I know. It's hard. When I was younger, I went for a year without ice cream when I was like 25.
All right.
Just to say I could, just to be like, oh, I've got good willpower. I'll do it. Just literally just for that reason alone, went for a whole year without ice cream. And I think I did it with chocolate once as well.
I can relate to that. I eat ice cream nearly every day, even in the depths of winter.
So you try to have, I mean, I couldn't have a year of anything now. I don't care enough. You know what I mean? Like when I was 20, I was like, yeah, I got to prove to myself I can do it now. Okay. I'll grow this for a month.
Yeah.
But that's like lack of effort as opposed to making effort. But yeah. I don't know. You get older, you don't care as much.
Well, you just got to come to the realization, what's the bloody point, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing this for myself.
I think the older I get, the less fucks I give. So
that's so true. I was just saying, I just had a call just before this, and I was literally said the same thing. I was like, I care way less about the good things and the bad things. Like I don't like we like nothing is quite as exciting as it was before. Like when we hit a milestone at work, it's still exciting. Like it's cool, but it's never the same as the first one. Like I'm sure, like you know, like the first time you win a beer trophy, it's absolutely incredible. It's like a life-changing thing, and then you win another one, and it's like, oh, it's cool. You know, it's not the same.
You're going to like just keep crushing it throughout the rest of your brewing career, and you probably wind up like the fucking Dalai Lama or something, just sitting there on a platform, all zen.
With my flannel.
People look at you, go, man, that guy's an amazing brewer, and you're just sitting there, just nodding, going, yeah, I am. Yeah.
True. I don't care about those physical possessions. Is
Have
there
you
a
got
brewing
beer
hall
there?
of fame? Oh yeah, I do. Hang on.
A brewing hall of fame. Yeah, there's like a few. There's like I mean, the IBA does like a lifetime membership or service to the industry and that sort of thing. I think
but by the time you're in
American
the IBA,
Brewers Association
you've
does the
sold
same.
anyway. You're no longer independent, so they're probably not even celebrating. Like like Chuck Hahn just had his what was that thing? His 50 years, some crazy milestone in the industry.
50 years, yeah.
That's insane. And there was like what?
Did you listen to that podcast that James Atkinson did?
No, I haven't yet, but I will. I like his podcast. It's very
really good.
Yeah,
really good. Anyway, what's the beer you got?
Oh yeah. You go first.
Well, we got beer mail.
Wait, we both got beer mail?
Was this one from last week?
No, I didn't realize you got it as well. I thought it was just me.
No, you're not that special.
Well, I thought that's how it works. Like it's expensive to send beer to two people.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But I got mine the same day as yours.
Nice.
So I'm Bark Hill Renegade XPA. And I have no regrets about drinking a hoppy beer in front of you in the middle of your No Hop November.
It's even a green label, which is not helping, is it?
It's just teasing, isn't it?
All right, give us a little quick review.
That is a lovely looking beer. Nice and bright. Good foam. Let's have a look. Nice hop aroma.
One sip, everyone knows the rules.
That is a tasty beverage.
Nice.
Oh, I really like that one.
What's happening?
That was Andrew. Andrew Drayton.
Andrew Drayton, fan of the show, one of the 12.
One of the 12.
Yep. And
go against the grain with the Renegade XPA, balanced aromas and flavors of citrus, juicy fruit salad, supported by a full-bodied malt profile. Hop to it. That is a very good description and spot on. What do you got there, mate?
Shout out. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I've got the Kramer, also from Andrew at Ironbark Hill. It's a smoked porter.
Yes.
And I've chosen this for a few reasons. One,
yes,
it's not a hoppy beer. Two is we did a beer called the Kramer very early on.
Did you?
Yeah. it was a grapefruit XBA.
Yep.
And it was a collab with my mate who worked at Custom, who makes shoes, and his mate who worked there, Ben, is now the video guy at Bolter. This was like the first. It was in a bottle way before we were even putting beer into cans, and we called it the Kramer. So yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah. So this is a 6.8% smoked porter.
I've got some friends who are over in Bamberg at the moment. They were judging at the European. I think Michael might be there actually at the moment, judging
Nice.
the European Beer Star Awards at Doman's in Munich. And then they all went up to Bamberg, and my Facebook feed is full of people drinking at Schlenkerler and Spezial and my favorite Bamberg brewery, which is Fassler. And yeah.
There's only a few of those words that you said that I understood.
You've never had a Schlenkerler?
No, it sounds like something that will be a lot of fun though.
That is the quintessential smoked or German Rauch beer.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And
That's
if you
good.
do you like that?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
you love a
that's delicious.
Schlenkerler then.
Roasty, just not too much smokiness, just a good amount, noticeable.
Yeah. What does the smoke taste like?
Well, I already read the label, so that kind of ruined it for me. It says a rich tapestry of beech smoke and smooth roasted malts.
Yeah, so beech smoke. It's from beechwood, and that smells and tastes like bacon. So you go to Bamberg, and that's where the Wyman Maltings is, right?
Yeah.
And then there's also a couple of really cool breweries. So you got Schlenkerler, which is really well known for its smoked beers, that sort of thing. Spezial, which is also does smoked beers, but more hardcore, more intense. And then there's a few other really good breweries around. There's my favorite one is Fassler, F-A, that S that looks like a B.
Yeah.
It's spelled like that, Fassler. And I really liked that because it had a real sort of working man's vibe or working person's vibe to it. And it was pretty good. And then you got Marsbrau, which is pretty good as well.
They're all specializing in smoked beers.
No, not necessarily. No,
Right.
Fassler and Marsbrau don't necessarily specialize in smoked beers, but Spezial and Schlenkerler do.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that you haven't had a Schlenkerler.
I haven't. I've had a few different smoked beers, but probably no legitimate, like no actual German ones.
Oh, it's unbelievable, mate. Smoked beers don't necessarily float my boat, from personal opinion perspective, but my God, the complexity that's in Schlenkerler is unbelievable. It's just got a bit of smoke, bit of malt sweetness, bit of nutmeg, bit of all this sort of weird shit going on. It's amazing.
We're doing a staff beer for Chelsea, and we've had to have a few cracks at it because it's a bit of a crazy beer, but it's supposed to be a whiskey sour with smoked malts, and the first one was too smoky, and we chucked it in a barrel in AWOL and tasted it yesterday, and a lot of the smokes kind of dropped out, but it's tasting really good. So as I was drinking this, I was just thinking like this in a barrel for 6 months or something would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
This tastes really good. I like it. It's not out because my headphones are a bit shit. Wait, I can hang on. Give me 1 second. Hang on. I'll chuck them back in. I can't hear you. I can hear you. It's a bit sort of jaggy, but I suspect it's my shitty headphones and nothing more than that.
Yeah, rightio.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'll put up with it.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. So smoked beers are cool. And we have to brew, we've got to brew one. We still have to brew that Grodzitsky.
Yes, true. I have not asked Gubs about that yet.
Come on, man.
I know.
It's the ultimate summer smashing beer. You've got fucking 5 brew houses.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, all right.
You've got 5.
All right.
Sure, you can fit it in.
All right, I'll add it. Send me how to spell that word, and then I'll add it to my list, and we'll get it done.
Grodzitsky.
We've got two investors who are absolutely relentless about rebrewing their investor beer. Because when we first started, like the major investors got to get their own beer. And both of those beers are smoked beers. One's a Bacon Buddy IPA, which is super, and then another one is the Smoke Screen, and they just, that's all they care about. All they care about.
Yeah, you mentioned that last week.
Yeah,
you're gonna do it or what?
This is actually, those beers not for me. Just it's like, that's a bacon sandwich IPA. It's cool.
There's a bloody series in that for you, mate. You can rebrew those two investors beers, and then you can do our Grodzitsky, which is a smoke beer.
That's true. And then something more like this.
Smoke beer festival. Smoke beer tap takeover. I think smoke's very underutilized in the modern craft brewing scene.
I think, I think Govs has either got given a smoking machine, or we know someone who smokes these this wood, and we can give them wood to smoke and like make a beer out of, like actually smoke the grain. So this shit we could do.
It's not tricky to make smoke malt.
All right, maybe we'll do it. You heard it here first. But I mean, if you heard it here first, you've heard
Black Ops Smoke Beer Fest.
Right. Gruziski, that I can't even fucking say the word.
Grodzitsky.
Right, but anyway, shout out to Andrew. That's cool. I've been to his brewery. Have you been down there in the Hunter Valley?
No, keen. He's doing some upgrades at the moment, and he's very hardworking brewer. I do a little bit of work with him, and he's one of those brewers just constantly inquisitive, trying to improve and all that sort of stuff. So I've got a lot of time for brewers who are like that.
Yeah.
So as soon as we can get on the road and go places, head down to Hunter Valley.
It's like so cool down there. I would love to go back there. All right. What else is happening, Andrew? What's your week been like? Anything fun happening?
Hey, what's that?
Anything fun happening?
No, I need to give you a Renault update though.
Yeah.
So so I didn't really do much work in the apartment last weekend, but I went and bought a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So I bought tiles. I've decided to rip out the bathroom and put in a new bathroom.
Yeah.
So that's just jacked up the dollars there. But I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to live in it, I'm going to enjoy living in it. And so that's going to be happening in early December.
Do you have in the plans for that? Do you have some kind of shower beer situation happening, or?
I will actually make sure that there will be a can holder.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. A fucking porcelain can holder.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of matching with my tiles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think that's a pretty smart way to play a bathroom renovation. So yeah, that's going to happen. Bought floorboards as well. So I spent a lot of money on stuff, but didn't actually do anything last week on it.
Still progress. Are you doing the floors yourself?
Yeah, man, my brother's going to come down and we'll probably knock that off in a weekend.
Yeah, nice. What sort of floorboards did you get?
Black butt.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, so quite pale wood.
Yeah,
it's hybrid flooring, right? So it's fake wood, but
yes, but it looks like wood, and it's better because it won't bow as much.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, that's right. Yeah, and it's it's all fireproof and all that sort of stuff, and so that's pretty good. And then I had a couple of quotes on air conditioning, and holy moly, that's expensive.
To put in like a ducted or something, or just a couple of units, or
no, just a couple of 3 units in the place, one in the lounge room and one in each of the bedrooms.
There's a fair bit to it.
But because I'm on the top floor, there's some complexity around the cabling, the ducting of the aircon stuff, and where they're going to put the condenser units outside and that sort of thing, the compressors outside, and it's holy moly, that's way the quotes are like more than double the budget that I had put aside for it.
Yeah, right.
So I'm undecided yet as to how that's going to go, but we'll see what happens.
I feel like it's kind of these days you just need some kind of air conditioning. I live for so long without air conditioning, but Yeah, it gets it's way too hot in Brisbane.
It is. It's too hot and too muggy.
Yeah.
And had a mate of mine. He said to me, "Why do you put ceiling fans in?" I'm like, "Fucking put ceiling fans in your fucking air conditioning."
Ceiling fans are good. I'm a fan of ceiling fans.
Literally a fan of fans.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
it went very meta very quickly, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think fans are good. I mean, if you got sort of low ceilings, it makes it a bit harder. But fans are useful, but you still sometimes it's just way too hot.
Yeah. Just gonna skip the fans and have the aircon, I think. So, and if it's too hot, open a fucking window and be done with it. That's the other cool thing I did today. I put some beer in a can today.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty proud.
Where?
So the froth rookies.
Oh, that's cool.
Did a canning run today
with craft bunks.
And no, we got our own canning line, mate. The state government owns like a Cast Max canning machine.
That's right. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think now we've had it. A little bit, about 8 months. I think we've had it, and it's just starting to get dialed in now, mate. And the seam is working well. The machine just runs. The DOs, we've got them down into the 50s and 60s, which is pretty awesome. Nice. And so we canned the session ale today, which is the mid strength. Nice, nice fruity 3.5% pale ale with, I think it's got strata and what else has it got in it? I'm yet to have a shit beer with strata in it, mate. So
Strata's the best.
Strata is the best. It's my personal favorite hop. Now let's see, what hops have I put in this thing? Magnum, Cascade, Citra Cryo, and Strata.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
That's a good combo right there.
Hell yeah. What do you do with the beers? You kind of just give them out?
Oh God, no. The paperwork.
No, but like for students and stuff, they can take the beers or?
Nope. Paperwork.
No. Wow.
No. So if you are keen to try some of the Froth Rookies beers, you can get them at my beer dealer, and you can also get them at Cannon Hill Brewing's tap room.
Oh wow!
South side of Brisbane.
You can go and buy them.
You can go and buy them. We don't make a lot. We broke our yield record today. We did 20 cases.
What sort of how big is the can? Like, is it like a small canning line?
Yeah, it's a little 3-head thing. It's on wheels, and
that's small.
It does. I mean, like you did that. You did a beer with Sanctus, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But we did ours. They did theirs. Yeah.
Yeah. So that same machine is what they've got.
Yeah. Right.
Machine, exact same machine.
Interesting. Oh, that's really cool. I want to go buy one.
Yeah, it's going good. Oh, and the other cool thing, I love cool brewery technology, and we got our can seam camera working.
Oh, nice.
Which is amazing. I don't know have you got one?
I don't think so, but I'm more of as you can see from the flannel, I'm more of a brewer than a packaging expert. So.
Oh, okay. Are you more of a micrometer man as opposed to
I get
micro camera?
I get deep in the lab and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
I don't mess with the technology. I'm old school.
Yeah. So basically you can get this can seam inspection camera. And so what you do is you've got this little sort of rotary saw, and it goes like a bandsaw, and you cut 2 holes in the seam, or you cut two holes in it, and there's a little micro camera. It takes a photo of the cross section of the seam, and it'll measure it.
Nice.
It's amazing.
What does one of those set you back?
That's a Crowler Nation one. That was about 12 grand.
Nice. I'm the worst person to ask those questions. We probably have those. I have no idea. Hey, wait, can you send me a 4-pack so you could send me free beer in beer mail from Froth Rookies? And I could send you some Black Ops beer, and it would be a
beer mail I would love to. But I can't because of the paperwork.
I'll fill in some paperwork. It's all good.
Yeah, no, it's the government they can't give away stuff for free.
That's fine. I work for the government. They do plenty of shit for free, Hendo.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of stuff.
I just don't want to have to do the paperwork. So yeah,
That's fair.
but yeah, so it went well today. I was pretty happy with today. And that, it's probably one of the best moments I think being a brewing teacher is those days where you do the canning or the kegging or drinking the beer from the bright tank, because all the hard work that the students put into it and that sort of thing, it all sort of solidifies all of the hard work that they've been doing, to get that beer to that point. And you just see a lot of pennies drop on canning day. It's amazing.
It's such a critical part of the process too, putting the beer in the can.
Oh, absolutely. It's brewing as far as I'm concerned. It's a very, very important job, packaging.
We're now rotating everyone across all of it. I don't know if you can see how distracted I am right now. This episode is about to turn into the worst Breaking Bad episode that ever was. Remember that one with the fly? And the fucking like for 24 hours.
I can see the fly.
Can you see it? I'm in an enclosed room.
Yes, I see the
one fly.
Yes.
And this is what this episode's going to be like. It's just going to be me trying to catch this fucking fly.
It's the fly.
I'm gonna. The worst thing is when you got beer, the fly's not going to leave because it smells amazing. He just wants to eat it.
No, that's right.
I'm gonna open the door, see if he flies out. There's going to be a lot of editing in this episode.
Yeah. Is that working? Is that working?
You know what's going to happen is the fly's going to fly out and the dog's going to come in and start humping my leg.
Humping my leg, yeah, of course. Yeah, very old school. Way back in episode 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what's going on with your fucking crew?
In which capacity?
Raylo and Riley. I had beers with them last night at the IBA meeting.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask if you went to that.
Yeah, I went to that. And Raylo looks like Eddie Vedder.
That's what I said. Yeah.
He said Eddie Vedder. And I was like, and then Riley, he's like waving at me and I'm like, hey, how are you? G'day, mate. And he goes, it's Riley. I'm like, oh, serious?
Yeah.
That's scary.
He had a long beard. Yeah. Eddie, Raylo didn't mention to anyone that he was even doing it. He just turned up at work without a beard and with his long hair. I was like, holy shit. Riley, we got the guys from Bearded Chap down to sponsor our little Movember thing, and they shaved him off at the tap room. So that was good. Everyone kind of got to see that happening. I actually thought Riley didn't look as scary as I thought he would look. Kale and Raylo kind of look completely different, but Riley's like, I thought you'd look like a straight weirdo, but you look reasonably normal. I was disappointed, to be honest.
There's a lot of beards coming off this month. I see that there's Luke from Soapbox, who's just had a long beard for as long as I can remember, shaved his off. And
for Movember or just
for Movember, yeah.
Very good.
That's really interesting.
If you're one of the 12 listeners to our show, go to bloody
what's your MoSpace?
I don't know. blackops.com.au/donate. Go there.
There you go.
And
go and donate some money to a good cause. What is it? Prostate cancer and Beyond Blue or something?
Yeah, and mental health. Yeah, it's good.
Mental health, yeah.
And I think we're up to $5,000, so that's good. We're making some progress.
What's happening? Holy shit, that's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
So what's happening in your world, mate?
Oh, it's got a thing saying my internet connection is unstable. What else can go wrong during this episode?
I don't know. Yeah, just all get patchy and shit like that, and I'll just get used to it. So don't sweat it. What's happening in your world, mate?
What is happening? Well, we had our birthday on the weekend. We went to Revel. That was cool. And we were talking about getting the guys on here, but I saw them there. That place is so cool. Did you go?
Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I went on Friday night, the pre-launch night.
Yeah.
And such a great space. The brewery area is just that roof is very Harry Potter. It's just beautiful building. I
didn't go in there. I can't, they were busy as shit. I wasn't going to ask for a tour of the brewery or anything, but the tap room and everything outside was unbelievable. The site is unbelievable.
Yeah. It would have been pumping too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's packed.
Did you eat there?
I didn't know. No, we had a couple of beers and we could actually only get the table for an hour because they were that busy.
Wow. Holy moly.
Yeah.
The menu looks really good. The food looks pretty good. I didn't eat when I was there. I had a mate got a burger. It looked pretty good and that sort of thing. And course, the beers are good. Maddie and Wes are making some amazing beers there and that sort of thing. And yeah, they're doing great. And it's great to see that finally open, you know, and it's long overdue, and it's good to see, you know, all that because the brewery's been there for over a year, right? So
Yeah.
they've been making beer there for ages. They just haven't had the tap room. And do you know what I really liked about the place?
Tell me.
The tiles in the bathroom. That's where I got my tile inspiration.
Oh, really?
From the bathroom.
Nice.
Yep. I bought the exact same fucking tiles as the bathrooms in Revel River Makers. No shit. I'm not joking.
That's amazing. I got so many questions for those guys about how all that happens, because the place just looks amazing.
Yeah. You mean the tiles, or?
I mean, the tiles could be part of it, but just generally, like the whole site, how that came about, it just looks so cool. You know, how much does that shit cost? Like, I don't even know where to start with any of that stuff. With one of those really amazing, epic kind of old sites, yeah. But yeah, let's get them on the podcast, because you're good mates with Maddie, aren't you?
Yep, absolutely.
Get them on, give them a bit of love.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good.
And if any of our listeners, I had quite a few people come up to me on the weekend and say they were one of our 12 listeners. So that was nice in Brizzy. Yeah. So yeah, if any of our 12 listeners are keen and in Brizzy, get along to Revel. It's really cool.
Yeah. Do we have any questions or anything like that from any of our punters?
We've got some news items and some fan questions. What's your preference?
What do you got?
You want some news items first? Sure. Do you want to
hit me with
the
the news?
Okay, I'll hit you with the news. All right. I had Revel on there. I had ACCC won't oppose Lion, Stone and Wood acquisition, but that's not super surprising, is it?
Nah,
not surprised by that. Did you see the Cooper's financial results for the year? Are you into that kind of shit?
Oh, a little bit.
Do people realize how much money?
I didn't read Cooper's in particular.
Made?
What's that?
Do people realize how good a business Cooper's is? I don't know if people realize that. Like, they never get talked about.
Right. And did you look at the numbers?
Yeah, they make $30+ million profit a year.
Really? On what sort of revenue?
Like, I don't know, $300 million or something crazy. I think I'll bring up the article. I remember when they came out last year and said, you know, here are our results. And I'm thinking, like, why does no one ever talk about Cooper's? They're doing 82 million litres of beer, which is just a shitload of beer. It's not the most they've ever done, but that's still a shitload of beer. I don't think this mentions their revenue, but it's a lot. I think it's something like $300 million or something crazy.
If they're doing 300 million and getting $30 million net profit, that is outstanding.
Oh yeah, that's right. And they also paid, I think that the article of their results last year said they'd paid a dividend something like every year for 30 years, except for that 1 year during COVID or something. And in this one, they're paying a dividend again, and doing a share buyback. So it's a very, very successful independent business.
Well, they're very vertically integrated, right? So they built a maltings in Adelaide, right? So they've got you can buy Cooper's malt. They do a lot in homebrew.
Yeah.
They obviously have their different their Cooper's beer brands. They've got the brands of beer that they brew under license, and they got a tap room at the Adelaide Airport.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
What do you think of Cooper's beers, Hendo? Do you like them?
Yeah, I think they're uniquely Australian, and you know, so if there's a uniquely Australian style of beer, it's like, you know, Cooper's Sparkling and Cooper's Pale are definitely it. It's a style of beer that we can generally call our own.
Yeah.
It's very traditional. Family-owned business. As I've said before on the show, I don't know why they're not in the IBA.
Yeah.
So that they because they are independent, The only reason why they're not in the IBA is they tick the we're too big box.
Yeah, 80 million litres of beer. That's,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
so
just
30,
so big.
30 million is the cap, or 30 or 40 million, I think, is the cap for the IBA. And so they're just too big.
It's amazing to think about. Like you just get caught up in your world. Like I don't ever drink Cooper's beer. I drank Cooper's sparkling for a little while. I appreciate it for all the reasons you just said. I don't really ever see people drink. I suppose I don't know, but like there must be a shitload of people drinking this beer.
Mm.
Good on them.
It's very popular.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized something I did last week that I didn't tell you.
What did you do?
See, my brother, right? Have you met my brother?
I don't think so.
He's like the shorter, fatter, uglier version of me.
Wow. Well, I hope he's not one of our 12 listeners, because otherwise we're going to be cancelled.
Yeah. He makes vinegar, lots of it, and
that's all like barrel aging and shit, isn't it?
He does do traditional balsamic. That shit takes ages. That's minimum 8 years, mate.
Wow.
Minimum.
Yeah. Like normal vinegar. Yeah.
Normal vinegar is like pretty quick. It's like, do you know how vinegar's made?
I feel like I'm about to find out.
Yeah, you're about to find out. Yeah. Shut up and listen.
Yeah, right. Go on.
So it's like so there's two ways to make vinegar. So you've got a double fermentation. So you have yeast that turns sugars into ethanol, right? Which we're all familiar with.
Yeah.
And then you've got Acetobacter, which is a bacteria. It's an aerobic bacteria, so it needs oxygen, and it eats ethanol and turns it into acetic acid.
Ah, interesting.
And so that double fermentation is how you get vinegar.
It seems very inefficient way, but yeah, it makes sense.
Well, that's the most efficient way to make vinegar, to be fair. Right. And then the really slow way, the traditional balsamic, that stuff where you get the little bottles and they're like $150 for a little.
That's like, that's like the sweet barrel aged shit.
That's right.
It's like the gin version and the whiskey version.
That's right. And that's traditional balsamic. And that's made with a bacteria called gluconobacter that converts sugars directly to acetic acid, but very, very, very slowly. And that's the other way you make vinegar.
Now back to your story involving your brother.
I went out to do some consulting for my brother.
In what capacity?
Well, he owns a brew house.
Ah.
He's got a 10 hectoliter steam brew house.
That's cool.
Which he just bought from Brewtique. And he makes a bit of so he makes vinegar and he makes kombucha out there as well. And I brewed tea on a 10 hectoliter brew house.
That's cool.
Because they were having some problems like getting tea, and they were getting all tea leaves and shit in the tank. And I went and had a look at it, and I went, oh yeah, let's see if we can do this. So anyway, it's like a ridiculous amount of tea in a 10 hectoliter brew house, like nearly 60 kilos of tea.
Wow.
So if you think about like hops, you might chuck 5 kilos in a 10 hect batch or something, like maybe 5 or 10 kilos
for the dry hop.
For the dry hopping, yep. And then 57 kilos of tea.
What is it? Actual like leaves?
Yeah, tea leaves. Yeah, just comes in big giant 50 kilo sacks, that sort of thing.
Wow.
And so, how do you think you make tea on a big brew house?
Same way you make beer.
It's the same way you make beer. We chuck the tea in the mash tun, and we lauded it. We ran it off just like grain, and it fucking worked.
Tastes good.
I don't know. I love tea, but just not that much. It's very, very strong tea, and it worked. And we basically made tea in the mash tun and ran it off like you do with malt, and we had tea, and it was good.
Very cool.
I was pretty happy with that.
That's very good. Nice. Well,
anyway, sorry, that was my thing that popped in my head, but random. Yeah. So what else you got there on the news list?
All right. Well, you mentioned Cooper's not being in the IBA. There's a bit of IBA news. You had your Queensland meetup.
Yep.
They did their annual kind of wrap up the other day, which I watched. Announced a new board, and they got the Indies coming up. So there's a bit going on with the IBA. How was the Queensland?
What are you doing for the Indies, mate?
So we do like a staff. Well, we do a staff Christmas party, and then our teams do the team day. So our production team are going to go up, do a team day, and go to the Indies at Easy Times.
Easy Times, yeah, I'll be at Easy Times.
Yeah. So and I'll probably come up at some point, not ruin their whole day, but I'll come up to watch the awards. Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah,
it's a great venue.
I like Easy Times.
Yeah.
I think it's a great spot.
So the IBA thing was good the other night?
Last night,
Last
it
night,
was
yeah.
good. There's lots of good stuff happening. So my faculty manager came on and he was talking about apprenticeships, brewing apprenticeships, which is very exciting. So basically, they're looking at, the state government's looking at funding like a 3-year apprenticeship for brewers to learn the trade on the job, and they get their certificates free and be assessed in the workplace rather than being in the brew lab or in the classroom. Yes. And that sort of thing.
That's very
so
cool.
That means they can just keep working. And so that's it. It's basically, it's another pathway to get your certificate free in food processing, and which is quite exciting. And there's basically the possibility there for brewers or employers to get wage subsidies to take on an apprentice, up to $20,000. So it's a pretty impressive possibility. But we need to know that the industry needs it, and so there's a survey that you can fill out for brewery owners in Southeast Queensland, or Queensland in general, can fill out. And that helps the state government to sort of gauge the demand, hopefully we'll get that one over the line. If we do get apprenticeships over the line, there's lots of other states that have traineeships, and I'm pretty sure, and I'd be happy to be stood corrected if I'm incorrect, but I think we'd be the first, if we get it up, and we'd be the first state in Australia to have an apprenticeship, a brewing apprenticeship.
That's such a good idea. As a IBA member, I'm very good at filling in surveys. So there's so many surveys.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Every week another survey, but that's cool.
Then,
I think that's very.
And
exciting.
then the other thing is some of the changes to some of the COVID-related relaxation of liquor licensing laws that happened.
Yeah.
Like it looks like that some of those are going to be made permanent, which I think is very exciting. So for restaurants, they'll be able to offer takeaway alcohol with a meal, up to 1.5 litres. There was some kerfuffle there regarding it was supposed to be wine only.
I think there is still some kerfuffle about that. I think
there's still a bit of kerfuffle.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right. There is still kerfuffle. And so if you're a Queensland-based brewer, you should write to Minister Fentiman and Minister Butcher. And if you're in the IBA, you should have an email with a template.
Dave Kitchen sent something out today.
That's right. Yeah. To get in their face and just say, look, we need this. We need this to stay. It's got to include beer, because that's really dumb, right? So 1.5 litres of alcohol, right? That's 2 bottles of wine. That's 14 standard drinks. It's also a 4-pack of beer, right? And they originally, in the first draft of it, they excluded beer and premixed spirits. It's like, what the fuck, You get a 4-pack of beer, even if you're getting a big stonking IPA, that's 8 standard drinks. It's like half the amount of 2 bottles of wine.
Yeah.
And so basically the go is that the Queensland Hotels Association they only want people to buy takeaway alcohol from their members. So they're digging their heels in with regards to it. But then that kind of conflicts with the Queensland craft brewing strategy being about access to markets. So there'll be some sort of compromise that'll happen there. If it does get up, I think that's a pretty major win for Queensland craft brewers, because it gives them another outlet to be able to sell packaged product.
Does it really? Like, how many people are buying takeaway beer from a restaurant?
Have you fucking Uber Eats, mate? Everyone's getting Uber Eats
with beer. That's different, isn't it? That's a different license to deliver alcohol.
Yes, but they can deliver it themselves.
Right.
So I think the restaurant can deliver it themselves, but they can't get Uber Eats to do it.
But no restaurants delivering their own food and beer, are they?
No, I don't know. But having takeaway at least anyways, I think is a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's just not... I don't know. I remember when COVID hit, it was like, yeah, sweet, everyone will go buy beer from the local restaurant. I don't think anyone did.
Really?
I don't think so. Because the bottle shops were still open, and people are still in the behavior of doing that.
I guess there's a convenience factor there,
There's a little bit, yeah.
It's just another outlet, Is it going to be a huge volume of beer? No, but I think it's just shit that the QHA are just trying to dig their heels in.
Yes, it would be nice to get a victory and be included in it just to get the moral victory.
So over the wine's okay, but anything that's not wine is bad. Just treat all alcohol as alcohol.
Yeah.
Just the two bottles of 1.5 liters, 2 bottles of fucking wine. 14 or 15 standard drinks versus, if you get a standard, 4.5% beer. It's 6 standard drinks, not even a bottle of wine.
Well, they're supporters of NoHopVember because they want people drinking the wine instead of the IPAs. So all right. Well, okay. The IBA board changes. We had Peter Phillip.
What's been changed? I actually haven't heard this.
Yeah. So Peter Phillip stepped down as the chair, who's been the chair for 2 years.
He did a great job too.
So cheers to Peter
Phillip from Wayward. Yep.
Yeah. And Richard. God, I hope I get this right. I was kind of watching it live while we were doing a beer tasting, but I think the new one was Richard Adamson from Young Henry's.
Yes. What's he doing?
And he's the new chair.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Because I've been doing some work with him on the IBA People Committee.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so he's done a great job on the People Committee.
That's good.
Looking at the People Committee in the IBA looks after education and equality and well-being.
Yeah.
And so he's done some amazing stuff with trying to get a brewing certificate 4 off the ground nationally, getting a national curriculum around that. That's still a work in progress. And he's done some great stuff with we've done some really good work there, writing the Independent Brewers Association Code of Conduct.
Yes, I saw that,
which was really cool. And then we've been sort of trying to do some stuff with well-being, but we kind of got caught up with a lot of other things that were going on at the time, like that the big blow up, that happened with the sexual harassment and all that sort of stuff that happened in the States that kind of leaked over into here and kind of needed to be dealt with as a matter of urgency, which is fair.
Wait, what's your role in that?
I'm just a member of the committee.
So the committees are not members of the board?
No. So the board the board delegates out. So there's different committees. So there's the People Committee, there's the Quality Committee, there's the Consumer Marketing Committee, like how the IBA markets to direct to consumers.
Yeah.
It's probably another one, but I can't think of it right now.
It's amazing they can get a fair bit done with so many volunteer people, kind of helping out where they can, but it's a fucking hard thing to do, being part of one of these things.
Oh, and having the time to do the stuff as well, in amongst all the things that we do. I've enjoyed my time on the People Committee. I think it's just a different aspect of the industry that I got involved with it originally due to the educational aspect of it.
Yeah.
But, when it started to sort of, start to delve into things like well-being and mental health and equality for, LGBTQ, for different ethnic groups as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which I believe that's a problem in Australia. That even within our own industry, we struggle with ethnic equality. Have a look at all the brewers in Australia, and who are they mostly run by? White blokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you got really good brewers, down in Melbourne. You got like that 2 Rupees, which is run by the guys from they're from India, and that they're trying to make a name for themselves and struggle getting the message across because they're not white blokes,
Yeah.
and that's the sort of thing that we really need to change. And so, and so that's why I've really sort of enjoyed my time on that committee, because it's like there's just so many different issues going on. It's like, we need to do something about all these things, and it helps make the industry much better.
Yeah, and it is. It's good, and it's also, it must be hard for them because they've got the volunteer kind of board and committees and whatnot, but they're also an organisation with staff and a budget, and income that is derived to a large extent by events that didn't happen. In the last couple of years. So it's kind of amazing they can do anything. It's a pretty fucking challenging thing to be.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, they're so lucky that they got the indies up this year and actually got them to happen, because that's a pretty decent revenue spinner for the IBA. BrewCon, not so much. It'll be back next year.
But Good Beer Week as well, is it?
Good Beer Week as well is coming up, and look, it's I think that there's a lot of upside there for the IBA and for Good Beer Week, and I think that they can do a much better job reaching consumers. I think Good Beer Week's a start. I don't see, I put personal opinion. My opinion is not the opinion of the IBA. I think Good Beer Week is something that should be national and celebrated in all the capital cities around Australia, and maybe some regional areas as well.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, the IBA getting a deeper involvement with some of the, we haven't had a Sydney Craft Beer Week in a while. We haven't had a Brews Vegas in 2 years, and that's like a volunteer non-profit thing. And I think that might be, just my, off the cuff opinion, it might be something that might be better handled by the IBA as a direct consumer thing, with Brews Vegas, wound up.
But the IBA have only really run, how many Good Beer Weeks have they done? Because they kind of acquired Good Beer Week, didn't they?
3, I think.
Yeah. So they bought it off Crafty. Oh, wasn't it like a group of? Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's running events can't be fun. Like, that must be so stressful.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that's really what the IBA is about. It's an events company, which is kind of fine. That's how they generate their revenue. But
their membership, they must generate a bit from that. Like, that's, we pay a fair bit of money to be members of the IBA.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, good on the people that are involved in it, and
good people. Congratulations to Richard as well. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I think Richard from Bentspoke is on the board now. Lauren.
Oh, great.
I didn't kind of stick around to the end because I had to do.
We have a Queensland. We have a Queensland member of the board as well.
Well, yeah, David Kitchens.
David Kitchens stepped down as the Queensland state chapter president.
Yeah,
and Lauren from Ballistic is now the Queensland state chapter president. So
David's great. He's on top of everything.
He's done a great job. Yeah. He has definitely done a great job. He said last night at the meeting, it was fucking hilarious, because he was like chairing the meeting and all that sort of stuff. And he goes, and what he meant to say was that he was stepping down as the Queensland state chapter. And he goes, I'm getting out of the IBA. And there was this gasp across the room. I'm like, did Ballistic sell out to a major, mate? And he's like, no, I'm just giving up bloody being the state chapter president. I'm like, oh shit, fuck.
Well, I think at the risk of turning this entire episode into the IBA, the one of the questions we had was actually on this very topic that involved Ballistic.
Oh, right. What's that?
So it's from Connor McCormack, who's one of the 12 in our Facebook group and listens to the show. One of us. He says, I know the topic of being independent has been touched on in a few episodes already, but I think Ballistic was mentioned, but not really further discussed. Episode 1 or 2, maybe. Are you guys able to discuss Founders First / Mighty Craft and the association with Ballistic, Slipstream, Foghorn, Source, Jetty Road breweries? Are these breweries pushing the limits of being in the IBA? Should they still be considered independent? And I just thought of that as you said that, because if David Kitchen is getting out of the IBA, maybe it's because Founders First have bought more of Ballistic.
Well, yeah. Okay, so like there's a long-standing kind of business thing that happens in the alcohol industry. It's not just limited to craft beer. As a global phenomenon, that there are companies who own different liquor brands, right? And so some of the ones more close to home would be Fermentum, which is stone and wood fixation, Two Birds, Granite Belt Cider, Square Keg, and all that sort of stuff. You've got Gage Roads, which is Gage Roads, Atomic Beer Project, Matzo's, all that sort of thing. Then you've got Tribe, which is Tribe/Brew Pack, the contract brewer, Mornington, Peninsula Brewery. What was that brand they had? Stockade, that's right. Yeah, Stockade. And so, that's sort of, pretty sort of close to home. There's a couple of decent sized consortiums.
Those
in
are
the
sort of,
States.
I feel like they're different. They're different.
So, different to what?
Well, they're different to Mighty Craft in that in almost all the examples you said, the kind of the main company either invented a brand or 100% purchased a brand.
Mm-hmm.
So like Stone and Wood invented all of those brands you mentioned, except for Two Birds, which they bought and decided to keep the name.
Yes.
Tribe, made up all of those brands themselves, as far as I know. Gage Roads made all those brands except for Matzo's, which they purchased in full. So they're kind of just like products under one brand, whereas like Mighty Craft is an organization that owns a certain percentage of a lot of different companies. So that makes it not. By the way, I'm not saying they shouldn't be independent. I mean, they are independent, so whatever. But I feel like that's a little bit different to the examples you've given. Yeah.
Well, okay. Give me an example of one that's out of the US. So the one that popped into my mind would be Kanaki, and they own Oscar Blues, Cigar City, Wasatch Brewing Company, Squatters, which I think is a brew pub company, Perrin Brewing Co., Deep Ellum Brewing Co., and Revitalite, which I think is like a sports drink or something like that. Probably a CBD fucking sports drink, maybe. It's all about vertical integration, mate. Mighty Craft, for example. Okay, so you think about what Mighty Craft own. They own a few breweries, some distilleries. They own a cider company. They own an alcoholic kombucha company. They own venues, right? So they're getting the breadth and the vertical integration as well.
Right. How are they getting the vertical integration?
Well, they own the producers and they own the venues.
Yeah, that's not really. I don't think that's vertical integration. Like it's not really any cheaper or better or more efficient as a venue owner to make your own beer. I don't think. Is it? It'd be cheaper for you to go and buy cheap kegs. I don't think so. I think it would be cheaper for you to buy cheap kegs. Like the pub on the corner could buy kegs cheaper than the small brew pub could make them. No small brew pub could make $200.
But when you've got the economies of scale, right? So you think,
but they don't have economies of scale.
Absolutely, they've got economies of scale.
In relation to what?
Buying power from all of the suppliers, right?
No, but they're not doing a whole lot of volume, and all the purchases are going to different places under different contracts, under different organizations. I don't think there's
Mighty Craft's got a buying committee. They buy as one,
right?
Yeah,
but that's okay. So I suppose if they're doing a huge amount of that's still not vertical integration though. It would be vertical integration if they own the malt companies. But
no,
if they have some buying power, but there's still, to me, they're buying some, say a reasonable amount of stuff to distribute in small quantities to a load of different places. To me, it would make way more sense to have one big brewery that buys all that stuff and uses it all on that site. Like that's got to be more efficient and better sort of buying power wise.
Yep.
I'm confused. I mean, we've kind of got off the topic of independence, but I suppose what I think Connor is getting is what you're describing sounds like exactly what the majors do, in that they have one brand. Sorry, they have one company. Well, they probably have hundreds, but it's Asahi or it's whoever owns Lion, Kirin, and then they've got lots of brands underneath them that are completely separate kind of brands and entities. And when you go and buy their product, you're not sure who owns what. So I guess what Connor's getting at is that enough to make something non-independent? Because when you go buy their product, you don't know who owns it or what percentage is owned by someone or whatnot.
Well, the IBA's definition of independence is quite clear, right? Is that you have to be making less than, I think it's 30 million litres of product per annum. You have to be not owned by more than 20% of someone in and of itself, someone who doesn't make more than 30 million litres of beer per annum.
Yeah.
And you have to make your product with the skills of a brewer. That's it. Now, Mighty Craft is listed on the ASX.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in the IBA's charter about the definition of an independent brewery that says you can't be on the ASX.
Nor should there be. And that's
no, absolutely not.
Yeah,
no.
And I've heard that come up.
But if there was a hostile takeover by one of the majors, then major brewers, then that would cross out that part that says you can't be owned more than 20% by someone who is in and of itself makes more than 30 million litres of beer per year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I've heard this come up about Gage Roads as well, because they're listed, should they not be considered independent? But if they are actually independent and they're on the ASX, it just means that they're more transparent about what they're doing. They produce their financials. You, in many ways, you prefer companies to be on the ASX because they're actually revealing more about what they're doing. Yeah, I think, but I think people probably think, it feels like something that's owned by a conglomerate, so it's not the same thing as going down to a local brewery that's owned by the founders.
Yes.
And
yes, there's that extra degree of separation that sort of feels more corporate, or something like that.
Yeah,
it's interesting. And so on the topic of Mighty Crafts, I'm not quite sure what their end game is supposed to be. Are they just trying to just be in the market, for the sake of being in the market, the artisanal drinks market for the sake of being in it? They're able to combine and get some economies of scale from their upstream, so supply side as well as the downstream. So they do combine things like distribution, sales force, all that sort of stuff as well.
Combining sales, I don't know if combining like a sales team is ultimately.
I agree on the smaller scale when you're selling to places like independent bottle shops and stuff like that. But if you're trying to put product in the majors, so key accounts, different story.
I mean,
or do you disagree? Do you disagree?
Well, you're going to have a lot of problems, because I just feel like you're going to have a lot of different brands that are not just different brands; they're different organizations that you're going to have to kind of choose which one goes into BWS and why. And it's a separate organization to the other organizations. It just to me the whole thing,
and that's another. Exactly. And that's another observation that I've got about like Mighty Craft, right? Is that some breweries, they own 10%, some breweries they own 50%, some breweries they own 100%. Which ones are they going to be pushing the sales of more? It's going to be the ones they own more of, because they're the ones where they generate the most profit from.
Well, I assume the goal is to own 100% of all of these brands, or at least the ones that continue to do well.
It's interesting.
I think it's interesting too, and I think when they sort of started popping up, it felt to me like they were getting a lot of like sort of free attention, lots of interviews on Brews News about this kind of revolutionary model and whatnot. But I just in my head, I don't understand how it's all going to work. to me, it seems really, really inefficient. But in saying that, they seem very fucking smart. And
yes,
they've gotten so
true.
much done. They execute, amazingly. So I'm probably wrong and they're probably right. But to me, it doesn't really seem to make too much sense.
Well, should we get Mark Haseman on the show?
Yeah. Do you know him?
Say, oh yeah, I can reach out to him. Yeah.
I think I emailed him back when we were doing one of our first investment rounds, but my valuation was too high.
I can see if he's interested, and we can get him on the show and say, "Hey, man, what the fuck?"
Yeah, all right. That's your homework, Hendo. Okay.
Yeah. He'll have to be careful. He can't because his company's listed. He won't be able to say lots of things, but we'll try and see if we can't throw a few hard questions at him.
Well, that's what they said about Elon Musk. So
yeah,
we'll get Mark Haseman on here smoking a spliff, and we're good to go.
Selling at $4.20.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Oh,
I think that's probably enough. We did pretty well. There's a lot of topics. I'm out of beer, so
yeah.
Got to go drink an XPA.
Well,
or
same here.
Or something.
But if you have a topic for us that you would like to discuss, we'll get another guest on next week. I'll see if I can't get Maddie and Flex on next Wednesday night. Yeah. But if you have a question for Maddie Cuthbert, who's the head brewer of Revel, and Flex, I'm preempting that they're going to say yes.
I'll say yes for sure.
Flex listens to this, so Flex, come on the fucking show. So if you've got any questions for the Revel crew, you can send us an email, or you can join the Boss and the Brewer Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Boss and the Brewer.
Yes, and I did add it to the website. So bossandthebrewer.com, the email list is up there and the Facebook group is up there. And look, let's be honest, there's not a lot of activity on either. So if you go onto there and post a question, we will see it.
Yeah, I like our Facebook group. We need to shit post it more, I think. So
what does that mean?
Just shit posting.
Just post shit.
Shit posting.
Yeah,
like giving each other shit.
I don't know what
sort of thing. Well, like when you, I actually know I should have posted the photo of you having the hoppy beer at Revel onto the Facebook group and gone, what the fuck, Dan?
Yeah. Okay.
That's shit posting.
Well, actually, okay. Well, I did post today, see if anyone hasn't had any questions, and they were just shit questions. Is that the same as shit posting?
Mm-hmm.
No?
It's less funny.
But, oh, okay.
Shit posting is funny.
All right. Well, that's your, okay. I got no homework. You've got 2 pieces of homework. Get the Revel guys or Mark Haseman on the show next week and put one shit post into the Facebook group.
Yep. Rightio.
All right.
That's easy.
Cheers, boss man.
Take it easy, brewer.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Goodbye.
See ya.